All right, watch this video for June 20th, which would be Tuesday. Starting off, I'm going to try to start off all my videos now with my updated equity curve. So this includes today. These are per trade. I was talking about in the last video that you really shouldn't want to learn from somebody with wild swings in their equity curve. And that's why I'm so proud of this. There are really no wild swings. You do see this kind of nasty push down. This was a whole series of trades that occurred on March 8th. And if you haven't read it, click around on my website. You should be able to find the blog. I wrote a blog, or on Twitter or StockTwits. I put the links out several times. I wrote a blog that night that huge losses or nasty losses, whatever it is, are a day trader's best friend. And this is I just had one lousy day here. I lost over $5,000 this day on just this series of trades right here. And it took me almost 2 weeks. Can't tell it by the chart exactly, but it took me almost 2 weeks just to get that money back. And then it's been a nice steady climb ever since. But I got an email that said, well, this looks like kind of a wild swing. The point is, this was really literally one bad day. And if you read the article that I wrote, it's almost like we do need to have a bad day every now and then to remind us, to keep us humble as traders, and to remind us that we're not exempt from breaking. We break our own rules. We're not exempt from the results. And that's exactly what I did this day. I let my daily loss limit, I just blew that rule off and ended up with almost like something like 3 times my daily loss limit. And everyone should have a daily loss limit in place so you don't ever have a tragic day. And that I've heard of some serious tragic days, 10, 20, 30, $50,000 on some traders if you look on StockTwits and Twitter. So 5,600 or whatever I lost that day wasn't tragic, but I'll tell you this, it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. So anyway, it was a nice reminder, and it resulted in what I've done since then, right? Which I just really just strapped myself together and really focused since then, and I just refused to have a nasty day again. So, and then real quick, I want to show, this was really my only sizable call today in the chat room. I said over the mic that this MYO, if it gets up into the 1680s, and I said it before this, by the way, said it when it was probably trading right around here. If it gets up into the 1680s, that could get it squeezing. And that did push it to high of day. Then it flagged without coming back to the 1680s, and then really took off and ended up getting to almost 24. So huge move there. But I don't have a lot of other highlights from today. I ended up today nicely green, but I don't have a lot of other highlights from today because, this looks like, ooh, nice. We're near all-time highs. But when you go to the intraday on the SPY, let me get pre-market off there. I got pre-market on there, so let's go. So you can see we had a gap up, right? And you had a gap up and you had a nice early move. But this all happened in the opening 30 minutes from here to here. And then if you look at the range for the next 4 or 5 hours, it was from, it was from here to here. It was in, I don't know, 50, 40 cent range, something like that, all afternoon before finally at the end of the day closing strong. So even though you look at the daily and you say, well, that's a nice day, as a day trader, there weren't a lot of intraday opportunities. I'll give you an example. We had HOS on watch, right? And by the way, it's on watch again for tomorrow. And I was interested in it over this little flag right here, thinking that could get it through the high of day. And it broke, came right back down, ended up taking a flat. And then it ended up breaking the high of day, failed again. And then look at this. In the last 15 minutes, it decides to rip. So that kind of action, you don't usually see that. And I don't know. If I wasn't averse to trading with 15 minutes left, this certainly was a great setup. And you see this volume coming in. You could still catch it below the early high. You have yesterday's high as another catalyst. Sorry, Friday's high as another catalyst above. So this made sense anywhere in this, on this initial break before it broke the high of day. To me, that's not chasing as long as you see the volume and you get in before the high of day break. That could have been a nice end of day trade. I sat there and watched it with a stupid look on my face and never took it because I don't like trading that late. But anyway, long story short, it was kind of a frustrating day as far as anything really, really moving. All right, so, well, let's just keep HOS up there for a minute because that is the first stock on watch for tomorrow. You've got, now a 2-day high, really nice volume. So it certainly looks interesting over the 2-day high, which is 293. Again, I hate the way it took till the end of the day to run, but we'll keep it on watch. WKHS goes back on watch, gapped up today, sold off, and then ended up closing above 4. So you've got 2 days in a row where it closed above 4. I like the chart a little bit less than I did yesterday, but we'll see, right? It goes back on watch. RIGL, some nice flag break calls in the room, not by me, But some, well, actually, I did call one idea out. Let me go to twos. Okay, when it looked like this, I said, you know, this thing's super strong, and now it's flagging, and if a break of 280 might get it to run, and then it did, and it went nicely through 3. I didn't make a penny from that. Some people in chat did and thanked me for my idea, but it goes back on watch because it did close well off its highs, but it also closed well off its lows and really nice volume. So we'll look for red to green, something like that. You know, I don't ever want to join a group of people chasing, and it's not a low float or anything, but anyway, it deserves to go on watch. ADMP, another example of something that to me, and I actually had a decent trade in this one from down here today. I like the initial sell-off for a bounce, and I made a little over $400 from here to here on this bounce. And then later in the day, it just kept hitting. It hit 5 here, 5 here, 5 here, 5 here. And so I said, this is interesting to me over 5. But again, it's getting late in the day, so I didn't do anything with it. And it didn't do that much. It went to 510. The reason I'm pointing this out is it's back on watch for tomorrow. You had this huge move, red day, and you kind of have a bottoming tail. I like this as a potential long tomorrow. That's ADMP. And then just breezing through the rest of them. NH, nice volume spike out of a long consolidation. We'll see if we can get a follow-through day set up tomorrow. ENPH, nothing that compelling here, and I don't generally trade stocks under $1. But in after hours, this thing did pop to $1.05, and right now as I'm talking, it's at 95 cents. So a potential gap and go tomorrow. They had news after hours, so that's why that one's on my list. LPCN, also, you know what? This isn't a bad-looking chart by itself. Just you got a little extra volume spike, but that's not the reason it's on watch. In after hours, as I'm talking right now, it's trading at 519. It went up through 550 at one point. So they had after hours news. And it's, you know, it's pretty interesting for a potential gap and go tomorrow. But, you know, we don't know where it's going to open. It might open at 8, and then I won't be, you know, we'll just have to watch the intraday action. I have a very specific method on trading morning gappers, and folks that have taken our course and folks in our chat room know exactly what I look for, and that is what I'll be looking for tomorrow to see if it gives me any kind of setup. That's LPCN. So it goes on watch. ABIL. Had this really nice 2-day pop here, and now it's just grinding lower on declining volume. At 2 days now, sitting at the 8-day. Potential long tomorrow, but I'm not in love with it because the volume has really died off. Pandora, I've had it on watch so many days in a row, just looking for a bounce. Haven't taken a trade in it yet, so it just goes back on watch again. That's as simple as that. You know, the first day I take it off the list, it'll have a big bounce, so I'm just gonna keep watching it for a trade. And then lastly, I have CFMS. Trying on a little extra volume, trying to break out a consolidation here. I'm going to look for a follow-through day in that one tomorrow. And that's my whole list. We'll find some gappers in the morning as well. Enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll see everybody tomorrow.